Dame with a Brush, here with my hubby hubs, Mittierim, and we're just going to do a talky little Paintisode here, because a lot of people have been subscribing to my channel, and I feel like I probably should put up more than one little video. Anything to say, Josh?
Not really. Just happy to see you putting more content up, and happy to participate in it.
Alright. Well, pretty much what we're doing tonight is I'm working on some dire wolves and showing Josh up on a base at the moment. We did look for other people to try and join, but found none.
So I guess if anybody feels like watching this and joining, they're welcome to come hang out and chat with us, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, more than welcome. Right now I'm going to try out this Gorilla Earth stuff and see how this works on a basing. Because if it works the way that I think it's going to work, I think it's going to end up being really kind of neat.
And I am working on my, what the hell are they called? The Vargeists that I'm trying to paint using the suggestions of Victor Case for his like white dead flesh look. And it's been a couple days since I touched these things, and I'm getting back to them and trying to remember how the hell I was doing them. So it's okay, I guess. So. So what did you want to talk with and share with your, now I'm sure, hundreds and hundreds of subscribers?
Alright, now you're just being snarky.
Me? Snarky? That's your job.
I know, that's why I'm like, shut up. Well, I got a new book for Christmas. And it's got a lot of neat little tips and whatnot in it. But the one thing that I've come up with so far that I want to do, I need the money to do it, is I want to get this sucker right here. I want to get this sucker, and I want to make this my Ragnarok spider. Because one, I hate spiders. Nothing wrong with that, but I do. So I want to get this sucker and put a whole bunch of night goblins in there and paint them up with some more paint, and it'd be awesome.
Just erase us. I don't see what you got against spiders.
They have 8 legs and they creep me out.
Okay.
Not to mention the vast majority of them can kill you.
A very small minority can kill you.
Whatever. I'm very certain that's the mass majority.
No. Only if we were living in Australia. Maybe New Zealand. Maybe we could ask John Toby. I bet there's a lot of spiders that could kill you down there.
Oh, I know there is. There are far too many things on, what do you call it?
Discovery Channel?
Netflix.
Yeah, I do have a tendency, when I do get a chance to watch TV, to watch an awful lot of, like, nature can fucking kill your ass kind of channels. So I think I've watched all of them. And amusingly enough, like 90% of them are about Australia, which just occurs to me that the British had the right idea turning that place into a prison colony.
I don't know that that's entirely fair, but yeah.
Yeah, no offense to anybody who's living there. I'm sure your daily fight to survive against the worst and poisonous Mother Nature has to offer is exciting and fulfilling, but definitely not my speed.
Yeah, snakes and spiders and everything else, nope. Nope, not dealing with it.
Mm,
Not doing it.
mm. So I don't know how many people are going to be watching it because Alicia's having the worst time trying to copy the link to this into the PMP. So I'm actually giving it a second, and what I'm going to do is go to your channel because the video should be up there now, and then I can just copy that link to the PMP site.
And then we make somebody to watch.
That's brilliant. I'm glad I thought of it.
I don't know this YouTubes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know much of it either. I just freaking post videos. That's all I do.
Yeah.
um, yep.
Hopefully I'm going to be trying to get a how-to video up pretty soon. I've just cleared enough space in my iPad to be able to make one. And everybody's like, why? Why do you need that much space in your iPad to make a how-to video? I need that much space in my iPad because my iPad's the only camera that I've got that I can do the POV on there correctly if I can get my fat hand out of the way to do it. So that's something I'll try and work on tomorrow before the kids come home.
Yeah. This just goes to show you how geeky that we are. This is the first night since our daughter was born, our youngest daughter was born about 4 months ago, that my parents have taken both kids. So we have a house totally empty of children, and we choose to paint and do a Paintisode. So
All right, to be fair, before I started doing this Paintisode, I asked you if you want to do anything else.
all right, then I guess it proves how dorky I am.
All right, just so we're clear.
Right. I have never made any other claim that other than I was King Dork. So, all right.
No, you have. You have declared yourself Pharaoh of Egypt at least once.
Alcohol was involved. I don't think that counts.
But not only alcohol was involved, but a trash can.
Well, yes, and in my defense, in an inebriated state, that trash can did look an awful lot like a pharaoh's crown, and I hold to that. I've at least got it posted to the YouTube site. For some reason, I can't get the PMP League to... Oh, there we go. Okay, it's just going very slowly. Dang nabbit. So... Goodness. Maybe we'll have a viewer here in a second. Does it show that anybody's watching other than me? Because I'm...
No.
Okay.
No one's watching this.
Well, then we're just talking to ourselves for a while.
Pretty much. I get a lot more views after it's posted than I do during.
Mm-hmm.
As the last one I put up, it's gotten 88 views on it. Me just sitting around talking to myself for 2 hours gets 88 views. So I imagine me sitting here talking to you might actually get at least one view.
I don't know about that. I think everybody's seen enough of me. Nobody in YouTube land wants to see any more Mittierim action.
Well, that's why I tried to call it something interesting to get people to kind of look at it before they go, oh, wait, that's just them talking. It's not
Right.
Batman. A bunch of bat guys and doggies.
Well, I think there's enough bat guys and doggies, even though it is just the stuff we're painting. I think one of these is throwing me off because it like splits the chest, and it's making it much harder to do this the way that Victor suggested, because it's a lot of like highlighting the raised parts and stuff, and it's messing me up that the chest was split into two separate pieces that I'm gonna have to glue together. I guess that's more my problem trying to do this on the sprue than anything fundamentally wrong with his painting suggestions. Which I love the look of, by the way, Victor. If you do happen to stumble in and watch this at any point, I was very, very pleased with how it's come up on the first one, and just waiting to get the other two done before I put any pictures up on the PMP.
I don't know if Victor's going to stumble in. He's too busy doing his own stuff. Every time I turn around, he's got a new video. This man is like the hardest working guy ever.
Well, it's what you got to do when you got a following. He's an award-winning hobby aide now. He's got to keep the public happy because they're fickle. Ask all the people who hadn't done a battle report in 7 months that got pissed off they didn't get a mention. But so it's your channel, my dear. What's our topic of conversation?
Well, we could rehash that basing discussion we were having earlier.
I guess we can. Make me the laughing stock of the PMP, but why not?
See, that's not what it's about, dude. It's not about that. It's about trying to, help out somebody who's got the same freaking weird issues you've got.
All right. Well, I'll give the basic background before we get into the conversation. I hate basing. I don't really like the way it looks on models. I think it makes them too busy. And I have a hard time being like, oh, well, yeah, you're on a battlefield, but this same bit of rock and shrub and whatnot stays with you no matter where you go on that battlefield. It's just a little goofy to me. So my basing, quote-unquote, technique is just to paint the base. I'll paint it a color sort of like grass or dirt, or I was experimenting a little with that crackle paint for my chaos stuff. But I really am one of those folks who thinks less is more on that kind of thing. And so the problem I have that started this discussion was the undead army that I have, the Vampire Count's army that I have, was purchased piecemeal by the fellow who owned it before me. And I've purchased it, and I've added very little of it to it myself. So the big problem is it is all sorts of crazy different basings on it. I think we were looking at it just a few minutes ago, and there's, what would you say, 4 or 5 different basing types? Like radically different basing types throughout the army?
At least.
So I'm working on these guys, and I'm just not sure what I should do. I mean, I've got everything from bare black plastic for the bases in the army to like this detailed snow with like dead grass to my usual thing when I do use grass, which is to just paint PVA glue on it and dunk it in a thing of green flock and let it go. So I asked Alicia what she thought, because I've pretty much given up any hope of any sort of unifying theme in the army, because I just don't think it's going to happen. So
what I told him was that this would be a good opportunity for him to try different basing techniques and get better so that he can utilize them on the armies that he really cares about. But then again, I believe your argument was, why should I put in the effort on something that I don't care?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way I look at it. And not to say I don't care about these particular models, because I definitely think the stuff that I'm working on, and these are coming out looking real well, and I think I'm going to be very happy with them. It's just a matter, in general, I have not actually myself done much of this army, so it's hard to keep that personal connection. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm sure somebody out there will understand that sort of feeling of a lack of personal connection when you don't paint the entire army, but So that's just kind of what I'm debating right now, is how much effort do I think is worth it for the emotional attachment I have in this particular force.
And it's not so. And what I've got to say about that is, it's not so much that you need to have emotional attachment to what you're doing. I mean, it would help, but you're not putting in the effort necessarily for the benefit of this army, but you're putting in the effort to amp up your own skills so that when you get to a project that you really want to, knock out of the park, you have those skills ready to go.
And that makes a certain amount of sense. I can see where you're going with that.
So that being said, that's the reason why I am attempting to do a base for him right this second. But this Agrella Earth is taking forever to dry and start cracking. So I don't know if I'm actually going to get around to doing the rest of it.
No, it takes about an hour for it to set real good.
Hmm.
At least that was my experience with it when I did it on the Chaos Men.
Woo! Okay, so I won't be able to do anything really good with that on this, because I don't know how long. We're not going to be doing this for very long, probably.
I guess it depends on if we have anyone vaguely interested in watching it. I mean, I'm sure this time, 10 o'clock our time, Saturday night is not a prime time for non-geeky folks to to be hanging out on Paintisodes, maybe?
What are you talking about? I mean, it's a Saturday night. Shouldn't they all be home?
Well, yeah, but some people might actually have better things to do than... uh, I don't know. It's...
No. Okay. So I'm trying out like these dry brushing paints, and I haven't actually tried them before in this commission, and I kind of like them.
Which one are you trying?
Well, I've actually tried. I've got two that I'm working on this model with.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Perexy White dry, and I've got the
Is that the
Termitus
one?
Stone dry.
Is the Perexy White? Is that the one that gives like that bone dust effect?
Yeah, kind of.
As I've seen that one, I haven't had a chance to play with it yet, but I don't do a whole lot of crazy effects on mine, so that's probably why.
Well, this was part of the Goblin paint set that your mom got me.
Oh, okay.
So I've got these, and I've been trying them out on this particular commission, because this is another one where I'm trying to match somebody's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding that I'm actually having to wipe a whole lot less off my brush than when I try and dry brush with a normal layer paint.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that same problem that you can get with the layer paints, where if you haven't wiped nearly enough off, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm. A problem I myself am far too familiar with.
So I'm kind of liking these, and I might end up using them more.
That's cool. I have not. I don't think I have yet used any of the dry paints. I'm having more fun messing with the technical paints lately. I definitely want to try the one Vince recommended to me was the Oxide. He says it's really good for like ghost effects and just a bunch of stuff. He says that's his favorite, so I think I kind of want to give that one a try next and see what I can make it do for me.
That has been like one of the biggest plus sides of doing these commissions, because I'm using a lot more of the paints than I ever did before.
Yeah. Well, when you go with different like paint styles for the different armies and different requests, it really kind of makes you step out of your comfort zone, I think.
Well, I know a lot of people look down on copying other people's work. Which, I mean, as far as painting goes, that's one of the best ways to learn, to be completely honest. I mean, yeah, doing your own stuff is always preferable, but copying like the masters and people that have done other things for you, it's a lot more difficult than people give credit to.
Hmm.
And you have to really have your skills honed pretty good to be able to just figure out how somebody pulled a certain technique or a certain color off.
Hmm. That's what I think's funny with your school background versus mine. What you're talking about in your world is lauded and it's considered great practice and stuff. In my world, it'd be considered plagiarism. It's not like you can cite on the model. Like I have to write just like a little Victor Q's on the bottom of these guys so I don't get in trouble for plagiarizing his style.
I know, isn't that like the weirdest thing? That our artists do this kind of thing all the time and it's not as big a deal.
Hmm.
Unless, you're part of a
Like
heist.
selling forgeries and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, because
Damn it.
back when I used to frame pictures for a living, people would come back from Europe all the time with copies of like the great works that you find in the Louvre and other famous art museums, because they'd have art students out there just selling them because that's what they were doing. They were just sitting there looking at the picture, painting it again.
Hmm.
And some of those copies looked really, really good.
Speaking of the Louvre, I saw a picture. Like I was reading this article about places that aren't anything like you imagine them. It blows my mind. Two things I learned about the Louvre. Apparently, there's a mall in the first floor of the Louvre, like with a McDonald's and everything right there. Like the outside of the Louvre is actually like a freaking shopping mall. And like you
That
go, it's just like you walk past Belks, you go to the Louvre. Boom.
Ow.
Yeah.
I think my heart just sunk like to my stomach.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. But then, like, they showed a picture of the actual hall where the Mona Lisa is, and that painting is a hell of a lot smaller than I ever thought it was.
Oh yeah, it's tiny. It's like really tiny, which is
Like,
funny.
you usually only see, I mean, I'm not an art student, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time studying, but, like, in books and movies and stuff, you kind of see it isolated, so, I mean, I thought it was like a big, huge painting, and it's really a very, very small work in a very, very big hall from the pictures I saw.
From what I can remember, isn't it in like a giant frame too to make it look bigger?
I don't know. It didn't. I don't recall. It didn't look that way to me. But like I said, I was looking at a picture that was specifically taken back to show like the whole surrounding of it to kind of give you that sense of look how tiny this is compared to how your brain thinks it is.
Well, the other thing about that picture too is it's behind like like you can't even get like within 5 feet of it because it's behind that much plexi. Like it's in a box. They just
Well,
mounted like this giant box on the wall to protect it.
it is something people probably want to steal, so that makes a certain amount of sense to me.
Well, I'm not saying people don't want to steal it. I'm just saying like you can't like it's one of those weird things. Like the other thing that's kind of weird is Sunday afternoon in the park,
Is that the one they're looking at in Ferris Bueller?
possibly. I can't remember the painting they
That
were.
just that just
It's the
goes to show
it's
you
the
guys.
pointillism painting in the park.
Yeah, that's Ferris Bueller. That just goes to show you guys my art background comes from '80s movies and not anything that could even vaguely be considered scholarly. Um,
Well, how big do you think that painting actually is?
I would say 8 feet across, maybe. maybe 10.
Yeah, it takes up an entire wall. It's huge. It looks far more impressive when you look at it in a textbook because they have to shrink it down like just itty bitty. Um,
With dots are the size of a human fist, it's
it's a lot less impressive, yeah.
yeah. So I guess before we bore too many people who may eventually watch this program with classical art talk, I've been given more thought to my eventual paint scheme for my Empire Griffin. I got the Empire General on a Griffin for Christmas, and I haven't opened it or done much to it at this point because I really want to make it look good. It's going to be one of the centerpieces of that army, and I really want to have my paint scheme in mind and kind of be ready before I get started on it. And so I was thinking, when I was in high school originally playing the Empire, I got the old school Griffin, which sits on like the 40 mil base. It was just a little one. And I painted it basically like, well, as much as my 15-year-old brain could make it come out onto the the model, like fire. So it's like the wings of it are like they start like orange to yellow, or yellow to orange to red. So it looks like flames. And it really, I mean, it was not very well done because, like I said, it was a model I did when I was 15. It's not something that I would be super proud to show off now. But I kind of like the concept. And so I was thinking maybe I should do that as my paint scheme for the big Griffin. What do you think?
Fire? You want to
Yeah.
set it on fire?
I don't want to set it on fire, but like I
No,
mean,
no,
like
I think it's a great idea. Let's set it on
like
fire.
for the Leonin body, I mean, obviously do like a base of that Averland sunset, and then do a much better
Job.
sort of flame progression on the wings. Make it almost look like a phoenix mixed with a lion instead. You know?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I said. That's why I said I was like, okay, let's go get the matches. Let's set it on fire.
Jesus. I don't know why I talk about this shit with you. I'm here trying to help you get content for your channel.
Fire.
Me, an award-winning YouTuber. I shouldn't put up with this shit. I'll be in
You
my
know what?
trailer.
You know, you can't pull that card on award-winning YouTuber on me.
Well, I can. You can just pull it right back is the problem.
Yeah, no waving here. But no, I think that could be a neat idea. The execution is going to be interesting, I think.
That's what I'm worried about. Because the only other idea I have, frankly, maybe just as difficult, but I was kind of thinking of doing like a blue progression of the wings and like a white, almost like a white leopard skin for, whoops, for the actual like lion body, but I don't know. Again, I'm not 100% that would look good. I would be able to pull it off. So
Leopard spots? No. No, God, no.
okay,
No, those things are no.
they're hard, or you just think I'm incapable of pulling them off?
I'm not sure I can pull them off, honestly. They're actually more complicated than you think.
That's probably true because I looked at them on some pictures. And like, those just look like little gray circles on the white. I can do that, which almost certainly means that I'm underestimating it, and I would end up fucking the model up. So
No, something like that is actually it's deceptively complicated because if you go in there thinking, oh, let me just paint gray spots on there, you're gonna come out with like a normal lion looking thing that you look like you just did this over and over and over again on it, and that's just not gonna work correctly. because you gotta get your tones, your highlights, you gotta get them just so to make it work. So spots, no.
Okay.
Just try and do a normal lion kind of. I wouldn't try any like funky little tricks because you're gonna be trying enough of those funky little tricks in the wings. It sounds like.
Okay. So my thought is, so the other thought is that I could still go with the white and the blues. Like, because my original thought was to do it in kind of the colors of Nordland, which is one of the few of the Empire areas that I don't have a unit for yet, and make it kind of look like an albatross. Okay, go ahead and laugh. I thought it was cool there. The Nordlands have
Albatross.
yeah, like the.
Are you gonna build a ship too?
I might. No, actually, I'd have to find that Empire land ship model that Forge World did and discontinued. That would be
So
my.
that way, yeah, get the ship
That,
and then.
right, and that way, when it gets shot down by the inevitable cannonballs,
Yep.
it'll make the rhyme of the ancient mariner action. I dig it. I see where you're going.
Yeah, Mister, I'm gonna cut you off. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
Mm. But I don't know. I think that's probably going to be, of all the Christmas swag I got, that's probably going to be the thing that ends up getting painted because I'm so unsure of myself as far as what I want to do. Apparently there's two people watching us. One of them's probably me.
The other one's probably me.
No, actually, it looks like it's Dark CT. He left a comment.
Oh, he
How's
did?
it going, Dark CT? Yeah, he says, hello, how's everyone doing? What has he missed? Did you all have a good holiday season?
We had an okay holiday season. A lot of running around.
But that's only to be expected with two children and much familyage. As far as what you missed general discussion on art and Alicia making fun of me, which is really nothing new. You can see that on every video she does. So.
Not every video. I gave you a compliment the last time.
Oh
remember?
yeah. Oh God. I can't believe I should have done a response video to that. I sit down to the last PMP video that her and Kieran Dunleavy did, getting ready, stealing my soul for them tearing me apart. And my wife, who I thought I'd known, I've been with her for 12 years, totally floored me by saying good things about my painting. Blew my mind. Just for the record, that was probably the first compliment she's ever given me in 12 years, so I should really put that in my journal.
Because he's a 13-year-old girl.
Right. It has sparkles and rainbows on it and everything.
Hey, we got another viewer.
Yep, it's John Tailby. He asks,
Hey, John.
yeah, he says, isn't the albatross a symbol of bad luck? Au contraire, my friend. A live albatross is a symbol of good luck. It's a dead albatross that's a symbol of bad luck, which I think is appropriate because if you're dumb enough in an Empire army to put your general on a griffin and he gets shot down, you've got some pretty bad luck. So I still think that the whole albatross idea holds. I don't know. I want something that looks cool and different, and I still want to stay. What I've been trying to do with the Empire Army is make sure that I stick to actually bringing each unit from one of the cities or the what the hell they call them, the counties, I guess, since they're elector counts of the Empire. And Nordland's one of the ones I don't have yet, so I figure going like a nautical griffin would be kind of cool, and then I can do like the blues and the yellows and make him look like an albatross, and it would be kind of cool.
I don't know. What color is Shazam's griffin supposed to look like?
Oh, his griffin is fucking tiger striped, and I think it's got a Superman symbol on his shit. I'm not even sure. Like Deathclaw is really loud. As far as that goes, I know his back end is tiger striped. Let me check. Carl.
Back end is tiger striped.
Yeah, it looks really weird. Let me see. Yeah, so like his back end is tiger striped, and the front end is like browns. Like it looks like it goes browns to kind of like a gray.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you can do a search for Carl Franz on Deathclaw and see it. It's pretty pretty
See, I
crazy.
can't spell Carl Franz. I can spell Shazam. Will that show up if I spell Shazam?
No. And apparently John disagrees with me and says the dead albatross you can eat, so that it's not a.
I don't know that I would want to eat an albatross. I imagine it probably tastes gamey.
Yeah. Hmm. Main problem is if I did go with like an albatross look, they're pretty much just white and black. So there would be a lot of difficulty in making it look right. And I mean, I could do it, I guess. There's some
Okay,
I
this
don't know.
is starting to crack up. Ha 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 ha. Crack.
I was wondering why nobody's told any good jokes yet.
I know, I'm terrible. I know. It's
Ba-doom-tsh. It's alright. We need somebody here to
to tell jokes.
either that or just to do the rim shot. um,
We need a ringer. What?
I don't know. I need somebody that can paint to come do this.
I can only do so much, alright?
I know. And I don't really want you to paint my models. That's the whole problem I have with my vampire accounts now is too
I
many.
paint too many models.
Well, not you. Well, not just you. I mean, you painted the Blackguard. It's more the fact that like it seems like everybody who's had a hand in this army has painted more models than I have of it. And then all I've really added to it was the Lord on the Zombie Dragon, the Terror, or not the Terror Geist, the Abyssal Spec or the Abyssal Terror that he can ride on. 30 skeletal spearmen and a couple bats. Yeah, like two bases of bat swarms. And I think and I've got enough vampire counts to field like 3,000 plus points, and that's all I personally have painted of it. It's kind of the downside of getting an army secondhand, I think.
Alright, now to be fair,
Yeah.
I didn't actually paint those knights. I just breathed some life into them, which is hilarious because they're dead.
Right. And I mean, they look good. They're, but it still comes to me. I mean, even the stuff that was under that wasn't stuff that I did. That was stuff that was painted before we got a hold of it. So.
Yeah, some guys decided to put these metal models completely together, half paint pretty much all of them, and not even very well.
Yeah. Well, you
There
gotta.
was
I mean,
primer everywhere.
well,
Ugh.
you gotta cut at least cut Skip some credit for it. He ended up getting all those because they were half-ass painted and they were stupid cheap. So that's kind of why they all ended up in my collection, because he bought them all that way because it let him get the most models for his buck, which I can understand. Now that it belongs to me, it's a little bit more of a pain in the booty, but I can understand why he did it.
Mm. All right. So, what's your next conversion that you're gonna try and do?
Well, I think since I'm already got the pieces primed from this kit, I think the next one is going to be my undead man-eater. Um, I came up with another idea of another one I want to do after that, but I'm gonna have to see if I can find the wherewithal to do it because it's gonna be another one that requires a decent amount of green stuff. I'm gonna need some good reference materials, but I kind of want to do one that looks like the old school chaos dwarves with the big pope hats on them and a blunderbuss. Just because I think that would be freaking cool.
Pope hats and blunderbusses.
Well, have you ever seen the old ones? They actually did look cool. I think, at any rate. But I really wasn't.
Hat.
What?
It's a stupid hat.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really thinking of doing one for each army until Kieran kind of suggested it during the last Paintisode. Then I was like, okay, I could see myself doing that. Damn it, I'm watering this paint down way too much.
Alright, this is gonna... I don't know if this actually happened or not, so I don't know. Did you ever do the Skaven Man-Eater?
Yeah, I got the Skaven one done.
Okay,
that was
so
the first
like
one I did. No, that was the first one I did.
Well, it never ended up on YouTube, so I was like, I don't remember if you did this or
He's
not.
been on YouTube a bunch of times.
Since when?
Pretty much every battle report I've used man-eaters in since I finished him.
Okay, so he never appeared in the PMP or like in
Well, no,
somewhere.
because I got him done before the PMP existed.
Okay, well, that's why I was like, okay, I don't remember this happening, but maybe it did.
I mean, if people, I can post a picture if people are really interested. I thought the PMP page was just for like current work.
No, you can post it in there under inspiration stuff.
Well, I don't think it's inspiration worthy, but if you want me to, I'll give it a go.
Hey, I get inspired by random stuff, especially stuff that I go, I could do that better.
Bitch.
And I'm sure Vince would love to see it, Mr. Skaven.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I actually didn't do
everything.
I didn't do a bad job, but then again, that one was I kind of figure was kind of a gimme one, because it is basically rat ogre parts mixed in, and you're looking at a very, very easy conversion. I don't even know if I would really call it a. It's really more of a kit bash than a conversion, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to tell for me, like what the difference between those two particular terms are. I'm sure the more hobby-oriented.
Honestly, I think kit bash and conversion it can be kind of the same thing. I mean, I don't see much of a difference in it myself. The only thing that I can really think of, and my thought left me.
All right. Well, John left us another comment. I'll read that while you're thinking.
Okay.
He says, subcontracting the painting to a team sounds like excellent project management to me. You provide the design and acceptance testing, and the team does the work in the middle. I agree, what? And like he's talking about the vampire army being painted mostly by other people. I definitely agree. Like it's a good way if that's kind of the way you want to work it. It's definitely a good way for that to happen. But for me personally, because I mean I do so much of the narrative stuff, I really want my armies to kind of resonate with me personally. And I think that's the big problem with the vampires that I've had, is because I'm not the one putting in the blood, the sweat, the tears to get it painted and get it ready. Hush you. It just I don't have that connection. It doesn't have that level of interest to me. Now, I get the feeling, because this is kind of how it's been happening, that the more that I get done of it, that's my work, the better I'm going to feel about them. Because that's just kind of how... I mean, I totally switched up my core once I got those 30 skeletons done, and even though skeletons with spears is really not the best way to go, I've used them every time I played the army since then. Just because it's just more me than what I've had with it so far. But it's kind of the individual. I mean, I know there's folks like the one that always comes to mind is Skaven in AZ, because he's always had his stuff painted by somebody else, and he seems to love his army. For me, it's just a personal thing. I have a harder time having that connection without that, you know?
You screwed up like half, like mid-thought.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, like the last 2 sentences.
Well, basically, the ultimate point I'm trying to make is, for me, I need to have a connection to the army that seems to best come from the hours of work that it takes to get them painted. So without that, the connection is troublesome at times. But
I paint all my own stuff. If I don't paint my stuff, I don't like it.
mm,
I even repaint stuff that like Josh has gotten me that it was painted already.
Well, in your defense, I don't think I've bought you, or that you've gotten anything that was painted to the caliber that you're able to paint either. So, like, for me, I would argue, like, the Vargulf that I have for this army is probably at the tip top of what I could get away with my current paint skills. And God knows the basing is way the hell better.
I like the Vargulf.
I do too. That's why I haven't really touched him. He's a very well painted model, and we all know how much I love big monsters. So
That's why I want to get the elephant. I want another big monster because I only have my Mangler Squig. Unless you want to buy me like 3 more of them.
only if you start playing.
Yeah. So the answer's no then.
Yeah, at least not right now. It's too much expense for you not actually use the models.
I just haven't had the time, and you know it.
I do.
Like, I suppose if we wanted to get off the computer and like actually play a game, we could probably play a game, but we got stuff to do.
Right.
And it's too late at this point now anyway to play a game.
Yeah.
Holy crap, we got another viewer.
So we're up to 4 now?
Yeah, we're up to 4.
Awesome. Whoever you are, call out your shame.
Okay.
Welcome to the Saturday Night Fun Zone.
So I figured out what I was gonna say. Kit bash,
Oh, yeah.
I think, would be a better term used for making something out of the same army bits. I think conversion is utilizing army bits from other armies.
Okay. I can kind of follow that.
Yeah, I think that would be at least my definition. Because so most defensive stuff I would consider kit bashing, whereas the zombies I'm going to have to be putting together soon, I would consider conversions.
See, I don't know. I almost think that it's the other way around.
Really?
Yeah, well, because what you're doing with those zombies is you're just basically taking... I mean, if you can get simple with it, you're taking 2 different kits, bashing them together to make a different model. I think conversions is stuff you have...
2 different armies.
Right, but ultimately I still think you're taking 2 basically GW kits and cramming them together.
So you think the line should be drawn over the... Where do you draw the line then?
Well, I think whenever you're doing something like you're cutting or green stuffing or making modifications to the pieces, I think that's where the line is drawn for it being a conversion as opposed to a kit bash. Whereas a kit bash, if you're just taking the pieces straight out of the box, even if it's from 6 different armies, but you're not like green stuffing or cutting or shaping or anything like that, then I think that's a kit bash, which is why I think my Skaven Maneater is a kit bash, because literally all I did, I mean, I did a little green stuff to make the joints fit, but it was like ogre body plus or rat ogre weapons and arms and stuff. So, as opposed to Sir Stompsmore, who I basically green stuffed a whole suit of armor around him, and so that would be a conversion. Maybe, I don't know. I don't do this often, so that's just kind of my off the cuff. And maybe there's no differentiation worth making, but that's just kind of my gut thought at the moment.
Haha, your gut.
We ogres do everything with our guts, Cylon.
Dang it!
So, while she's getting her voice fixed, apparently Dark CT says he really enjoyed the old Chaos Dwarfs because of their hats. And I absolutely agree, sir. They were some fantastic hats. And I know I've told this story before, but really for me, I think the Chaos Dwarf interest that I have comes from a lot of nostalgia. My brother and I were never very close as children, and I mean, in all honesty, we're not super close now. But it was like when we were playing Warhammer together, it was one of the few times that we actually had a decent sibling interaction, and he played Chaos Dwarves. So there's something about seeing the Chaos Dwarves on the field that makes me happy in a very nostalgic kind of way.
Makes you all warm and gooey.
Yeah.
In your pants.
No. See, I am trying to bare my soul to these people, and you're making perverse jokes.
Yup. Yup.
But, and like I said, I love the, I love the Chaos Dwarfs hats and the blunderbusses and the freaking, bull centaurs. What are they called? Yeah, bull centaurs. Like, if I had the money to get this stuff out of Forge World, I probably would have done a Chaos Dwarf army. Probably when I did the Dwarf army instead of them. But, those models are just so freaking expensive. And trying to get the old school ones is just about as bad. So,
buy yourself some dwarves, stumpies, some dirty stumpies, and a whole mess of green stuff, and just put on some cone-shaped heads. There you go.
yeah,
You got your
the
Pope
problem
hat
is, though,
gnomes.
no, they look very different. I mean, the whole style. I mean, I've seen people try and convert them, and there's still something missing about it. I don't really know how to describe it, but
Is it a stick?
no.
Is it up someplace?
Would you stop? And John says he has an ogre, a unit of ogres he's building based on Dark Elf units. He has an ogre crossbowman, a witch ogre, an executioner, blackguard, a corsair, and a bleak sword. And he said he might use them as treekin in a combined elf army.
1, that's awesome. 2, I really want to see that witch ogre. Like, did he get the female man-eater to convert up? Or is there a dude in drag somewhere in his army?
Well, you can just do you can green stuff some boobs on there. That's not too hard. That's actually
But that's
one of
a
the
dude
things.
in drag, Josh. I want to see it.
That's one of those things I still haven't decided on yet. If I am going to go the whole way and do a man eater for each army, I'm going to need to come up with something for the elves. I mean, I'm thinking at least with the high elves, it's pretty easy to do a spearman. I'll just green stuff a penis helmet on his head, turn a standard bearer into a big spear, maybe like green stuff a chainmail skirt around him or something. That shouldn't be too hard. Uh, but I'm not really sure what I want to do about the dark elves or the wood elves for that matter.
Wood elves are totally cake. You
Oh,
want to know how you convert one?
sure.
Okay, so you get dual weapon wielding ogre.
Hmm.
Cut off the weapon ends, like just the heads, leave the sticks. Take
Right.
some glue and put some flock on there. He's holding branches. He's pretending to be a tree.
Give him like a little flock hat or something. Make him a treeman. That could be funny.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm running out of ogre bodies though. That I'm gonna have to those chaos ogres that came with the warriors trade. I'm gonna have to break them down for parts. I think. Oh, that reminds me. I've got a. I don't know if anybody who is ever watching this saw my last Mittierim spotlight on a fellow called Black Tower Terrain. He's working on an amazing piece of terrain for me for the ogre, the maw pit. So I got to go through my ogre bits and send him like some hands and various pieces of ogre bodies that he's going to put in like the bottom in blood pools at the bottom of the maw pit, and it's going to look pretty cool. I'm super excited about it.
See, every time you say maw pit, I, for some reason, picture, a little orphan child.
Jesus.
It's the way you pronounce it.
That's how you pronounce it. Is maw, M-A-W, pit, P-I-T. Maw pit.
Muppet.
Anyway.
Moppet.
John Tailby says you can just make your mangler squigs out of balls and green stuff.
I could. Possibly.
Of course, just for the record, I think Alicia's the only person I have ever seen who actually made the mangler squig kit into only one mangler squig. The biggest thing you see is people just get two bases and turn each one into a separate mangler squig. But she actually did them as one.
Because that's how the mangler squig's supposed to look. It's two big freaking squigs chained together. That's the whole point of it. And whoever's not doing that, they're not being, right to the goblins. And they're bad. You should feel bad.
Right.
Because, if it's just one of the mangler squigs on a base, that's not a mangler squig. That is a giant cave squig, and you are playing it wrong.
You sounded very much like Lord Tremendous. Are we gonna have Alicia rants now?
Do we really want to do that?
Probably not. I think you'd get kicked off of YouTube for cursing too much.
Couldn't I put like a over 18 thing up on there and then I can curse all I want?
Maybe, but I was talking more like when your rabid profanity just sprays the YouTube and like the circuits melt and stuff. Dark CT asks, speaking of man-eaters, did you see the Bretonian ogre on the hobby horse? Isn't that the one I did? Is that what you're talking about? Or an actual like rocking horse? Because if so, I didn't see that one. I don't think. But I did one, and everybody whined at me for mistreating animals. So.
Alright. But speaking of blunderbusses, way back when you actually mentioned blunderbuss. Did you see the picture of the dwarf with the goggles, the blunderbuss? He looked naked.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I I want to say it was probably posted up on the PMP, or it was just a Victor Q's thing.
Yeah.
Not something that he did, but I think it was something that he linked.
Okay. I'll have to look, and I'll be honest, and this will probably make Whoopi cry if he watches it. I actually had to disable the notifications for the PMP League. Um,
Oh yeah, because there's people constantly posting now.
yeah, and so like at work, it makes my phone go off about 5,000 times an hour, and it's very distracting. So I had to just so I go and check it like once or twice a day, but I can't let it automatically notify me of anything anymore.
I don't know that would make him cry. The one thing that is driving me insane on the PMP League is the fact that I'll post a whole bunch of pictures in one little post,
Mm-hmm.
and then the site will post all the pictures individually. So it makes it look like I'm a jerk posting all of these pictures consecutively. But it does it to everybody.
Weird. Like I said, I disabled it, so I haven't really noticed that because I have to go on my own and
Well,
take a peek.
you also haven't really noticed it because you don't post a bunch of pictures all at once.
No, I usually post 2 or 3 pictures of what I'm working on as soon as I finish it. So that's actually the real reason too why I don't actually do the pledging part, because I have no idea what the hell I'm going to feel like working on at the beginning of the month. I'd rather just be motivated by seeing other people get stuff done and just get stuff done myself rather than try and predict what the hell I'm going to feel like working on as the time goes by.
I keep trying, like, I honestly just forget sometimes to post the pledge,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll end up posting a progress pic and then a finish pic. And I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot to pledge something, didn't I?
Yeah.
Whoops.
I get enough stuff done where I don't necessarily think the pledge is super necessary, because it's just, I mean, I like just showing off and getting new thoughts about what to.
Well, I think it's it's a good idea for a lot of people, and it helps, keep people honest.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know,
Yeah. And I mean, I understand. Ultimately, it's just to help folks who need that little oomph.
that little kick
For
in the
me,
butt.
yeah. I mean, for me, I'm going to paint anyway, and it's pretty immaterial, but it's nice to be able to see. I think the one thing that's helped me is to get feedback and get the acknowledgement that, hey, yeah, you're doing something different and you're doing something right, and just seeing kind of where I've grown, because I think this year has been a huge year technique-wise for me.
It
I think
is.
I've come a long way in just trying different things, and yeah.
Of course, you mean last year, because this year
Oh
you
yeah.
suck.
Ah, God. Yes, I mean last year. Sorry. It's only, what, day 3 of the goddamn year? I'm still within the window of being excused for making that mistake.
Nope.
I should not have expected any sort of leniency from you. You should be a prison warden.
Really, you think that badly of me?
I don't, but I think that you would make prisoners' lives a living hell.
That is
you're,
really cruel. You know
you're
that?
not breaking that rock right. Get back to work. Solitary confinement for you. You didn't shiv that guy with the right technique. Give him the chair.
You gotta use a forearm shiver. Come on.
Right, see? That's how you would do. I know you.
Do prisoners even break rocks anymore? Or is that just
Probably
like a
not.
cartoon trope?
I don't know. It's probably a cartoon trope. I don't know. It's been so long since I've been to prison, I couldn't tell you.
All right. So I got this Agrella Earth stuff. It's finally cracked up some.
Mm-hmm.
I did another coat, and I just got some wash stuck on there now. Try and bring it up.
Yeah.
Show
I
some
had an awful lot of
depth.
time trying to control that stuff and make it so that like the cracks would form kind of vaguely where I wanted them. Are you having any better time with it?
I just wanted to crack somewhere. That's all I care about. I mean,
Okay.
it's a base.
Right. Well, like what I was trying to do is I was trying to get it to crack like around the wheels of the chariot and around where the gore beast was standing. So it made it seem kind of like their pressure
It was
was
cracking
cracking the already
stuff.
dried. Yeah, and that didn't really work out too well. It just kind of cracked wherever the hell it wanted to and didn't really care about what I thought.
Did you put extra around the wheels and base?
Uh-huh. And it just, I mean, it didn't seem to do it right. And maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe it was because it was being near those pieces made it dry differently. I don't know. I barely understand the witchcraft that goes into that working anyway. So.
Okay. What?
John Tailby posted the witch elf man-eatress.
Basically.
Well, it's all base and green stuff now, and it looks like somebody the Pillsbury Doughboy would pay him to tie him up and spank him or something. It's really weird.
That good, huh? I gotta see this thing.
He just posted it to the PMP. It's nothing says loving like a witch elf in the oven.
I gotta see it. Come on, phone. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my god.
awesome work, John.
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is that Poison Ivy. When did you get fat and and hideous?
You done got yourself looking real hideous. Oh, that's funny.
this this is awesome.
I still think it looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy's dominatrix, but it's just me. You got to get some paint on that thing, John. It's messing with my brain.
It could only be the dominatrix if the butt was actually defined on this thing. It's not. It's a massive blob. You need to get the crack in there, John. I'm sorry.
This is why all my ogres wear pants.
I think it's supposed to wear pants, isn't it? Or
Well,
maybe
yeah,
not.
all of the ogre legs have pants on them except for the female man-eater, and she's got a skirt and fishnets on.
No. Which, by the way, is just odd.
Why is that odd?
Why does she have fishnets? Nobody else has fishnets. Why does she have fishnets?
Because she is a dainty and delicate flower. Look at it this way.
I have one thing to say to her.
What?
Hooker dance.
Right. But look at it this way, though. With the ogre, it probably is actually a fishnet that she just tied on her legs. Be the right size. Has little hooks in it. Makes it stay in place. Because apparently the ogres really don't care about small puncture wounds in their body. If you ever looked at them, most of them have like random shards of bone and crap poke through their skin.
Yeah, they have like random funky piercings.
Yeah, which is just weird. I don't like it.
Not really. You could paint them up like punks. Like they're all punk rockers. Like just a whole race of them.
Yeah. But the other thing that a lot of people do with the ogres that I actually avoid is tattoos. To me, tattooing almost seems too delicate for the ogres to really do. So I don't like it too much. I mean, you get a lot of folks who do like the big maw tattoos on their shoulders and stuff. I don't know. I like just my normal plain skinned ogres.
Well, the thing is the tattoos are not delicate nor are they dainty. They hurt like a bitch.
Well, yes,
And with the sheer size of the ogres, can you imagine how big that frickin' needle is?
I guess and I'm not saying I didn't mean delicate uh
They're
like
delicate little
only do.
flowers with their funky little tattoos.
Yeah, I don't mean it like that. More, I mean it's precise work that I have a hard time seeing an ogre do.
Precision work.
Right. Okay. Yes.
But then if you put tattoos on your ogres, it wouldn't be precision work because it wouldn't be very clean looking now, would it?
Wow.
And thus true to your ogre mindset.
Or I just leave them freaking untattooed and I get on with my life.
Because, you know, they all want to be buried in a Jewish cemetery.
Right. I guess. I don't.
I'm just gonna go to hell. Alright.
Probably.
But no, I mean, come on, the random piercings, the tattoos on the ogres, they are punk rockers.
I would
They're all
need
shirtless
to
too. Like they all, the mall pit, it's a mosh pit.
I would need to green stuff some like some leather jackets with chains and stuff on them.
Well, you have them in patent leather boots already.
Yes, I do. I like my patent leather ogre boots. Okay. You give me such crap, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. I love my ogres.
I'm not saying you don't.
They could be painted like crap. They could fail me every time I play them. Not that they have recently, but there's just something about that army that I love more than any of my other armies. I mean, hell, I'm taking it to a GT this year. That's
realistic body type.
Right. I was actually thinking what would be really fun for the GT is to get a like a flesh colored shirt with a gut plate design on it, and wear that to the GT, like a gut plate design like right over the belly. That would be pretty awesome. I don't know. I'm looking forward to Brawlers, though.
Okay, so we get your shirt, the appropriate color. I have a trash can lid. We get one of those big metal trash can lids. Tie it to your stomach.
I'm not talking about an actual metal. That would be super uncomfortable. I would talking about go to like one of those T-shirt pressing places.
Loser. You got cosplay something. Cosplay something. Don't just. Come on, you love this army? Suffer for it.
Oh, no, the only thing I love that much to suffer in that manner with is you, dear.
Oh, so you're going to do it then?
No.
So this is the most complicated washing system ever.
Oh? What are you...
Yeah, I end up having to wash the muscle group like 3 times just to get it about the right color.
Yeah. I got these wings to the point where I'm just going to have to let them sit and dry. I probably need to ink them again once they're done.
I can't wait to get to the commission where I can do my own thing again.
You don't like the matching so much?
I have no problem with the matching. It's just this matching is kind of more difficult than the rest of them, and
it is kind of a strange color combination for like for those of you that can't really see them. There's a strange like purple tint to all the muscle tissue on the direwolves. It just makes it look very unusual, which I guess is cool because it means there's not another army that's going to look like that. But it definitely surprised me when we saw the example ones come out of the box.
Ditto. Uh-huh. No, no, no,
I
no,
really
no.
need to go away from the PMP page. I keep looking at that that witch elf ogre.
That is the most awesome witch elf ogre ever.
Yeah. I may have to do something very similar to that for when I get to the dark elf one.
I demand it.
Uh,
And we all know I get what I demand, so there you go.
John says, "How do you get past the crazy harem shoes?" I assume you're talking about the ogres with their little like bent up toe bladed boot things. Uh, I don't know. I like them. There's something cool about that style. I could dig it. I'd probably wear pointy toed shoes if I didn't have duck feet, and they'd look weird. And he says for brawlers, I should get a fake professional wrestling belt as the gut plate that says Mittierim for heavyweight champion of the world.
See, that would be more expensive than my idea. My idea involves going and getting like a $2-3 trash can lid.
Uh-huh.
And it would look more gut platey to me, I think. I don't think a belt buckle would be nearly as big.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, those wrestling belts are ginormous.
Well, yes, I realize that, but on you, it wouldn't be like gut plate size like it should be,
Right.
is what I'm getting at here.
No, I agree. The more I look at these pictures of the albatross, the more I kind of want to do the albatross griffin.
See, I'm still not sure about that. I mean, I think it'd be hilarious. I mean, I'm all for
It's
you
gonna
doing
be
something
cool, but
funny
like,
as crap.
well, there's little things like if I could pull it off, there's little things about them that I think would bring a lot of personality um, to it. Like they have these like their eyes are very like they're mostly white, and their eyes are very dark, but they've got kind of this swooping line that it almost looks like eyebrows, but like as if they were coming out from like the corner of the eye. That's black that kind of gives shape to the head, and then there's just a bunch of colors in the beak. So I think if I were like to get that right, I would really like work on my color blending, and because it looks like it goes from like this pale yellow and then starts getting more orangish red into it, so it kind of goes to like this almost pink color, and then this deeper orange at the base of the or the tip of the beak, and then the wings are very like there's a very unusual pattern in the wings that I think would be a challenge to kind of duplicate. So, and I mean that's the whole point of my year this year is figuring out challenging stuff to kind of see if I can get better. Mm.
See, I'd be worried because the eyebrow that you discussed, if you get it wrong, you could end up making that thing look like, you know, those women and some dudes that just take the really super black pencil and do this number.
Like Tammy Faye Baker.
Something like terrible like that, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, to throw your argument back at you though, if I don't do anything new or difficult, I'm never going to get any better.
I agree with that.
So,
That's why I've said that before.
right.
But at the same time, this is one of your like really big centerpiece things. So I'm just trying to help you out here.
Right. And the real question then is like, if I do the bird part as the albatross, what kind of leonine creature do I match the sort of the body up with?
A lion.
And just do like the yellowish brown. Yeah, I could do that.
I mean, doesn't that match the albatross kind of thing?
It does. Well, I mean, the albatross literally, other than their beaks, they're just black and white. There's no other colors. Well, I mean, I guess gray because there's some.
Well, if they're black and white and gray, the only other thing that I can think of to tell you to do would be to you could try and do like a panther.
With like a sort of a purplish black to it, or.
Yeah, bluish black, purple black, whatever.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I don't know. I'm sure before I actually like break the thing out, I'll have switched back and forth 900 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm leaving it till the very end. At the very end, it'll like of all this stuff I've got to paint. I'll have had some time to practice some different techniques and stuff like that, and see what comes up. It looks like a square.
Yeah, I know. Shut up.
Well, we've been doing this for a good bit over an hour now, I believe.
Yeah, I guess we could go ahead and call it now and do other things.
Might as well. I'm out of stuff to paint. I got to leave these to dry before I continue to screw with them and make it worse.
Yeah, I think I'm actually pretty much done with these. I just gotta do the basing on them, like the two that I was working on.
Okay.
And I don't want to do the other two just yet because those are the two that I'm trying to do for the how-to video.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for having me on. Seems weird to
Thank,
say that.
thanks everybody for watching, and thanks for the comments. Uh, Glad everybody enjoys my random talking.
Yeah. If
Um,
anybody would like to weigh in on the albatross Empire Eagle opinion, I would be interested in kind of hearing what people's thoughts are. So feel free to leave those in the comments too.
Trying to think if there's anything else to talk about. As always, if you want me to get you to paint something, email Josh here at joshlmerritt@gmail.com. And since he's the businessy dude, I'm just the talent. And we'll get you a. Oh, God, my brain just failed me.
A quote.
Yes, that thing.
This is why I'm your business manager.
Yes, because I can't remember the word quote.
Right.
All right. See ya later. Bye bye.